For the most part, the default settings in WordPress are sufficient to get started. There are a few things, however, that should be changed before you start customizing the site. One of the first settings you'll need to change is the permalinks. Permalinks are permanent URLs to your posts, pages, categories, and tags used for finding information on the site, and is also used to link to the site. This makes user-friendly and readable links, and it helps in SEO. You'll also want to set the date and time for the site to your local time. The default time is set to London, England time, but can easily be changed. To set the permalinks, navigate to the Settings admin panel and click Permalinks. To avoid 404 errors and broken links, the permalink settings on this page should be set and not changed. By default, WordPress creates these URLs or permalinks with question marks and unique ID numbers. But WordPress also gives you the ability to create readable, user-friendly, and search engine-friendly URLs, sometimes referred to as pretty permalinks. WordPress is set at the default with a question mark and a unique ID number, but select one of the radio buttons and the custom field changes to that selection using structured tags. A structured tag is the name for the permalink that has a % at each end and a slash at the beginning and one at the end. You can choose from one of the common structures, or you can enter a custom structure using one of or a combination of the structured tags. These structured tags can be found by clicking the Number of Tags Are Available link on the permalinks page. One of the most popular permalink structures is post name, which uses the slug. A slug is the word or words you use to describe a page or a post. This is usually taken from the title and appears in all lowercase with dashes between words. The post name structure is nice since it's simple and easy to read. Select one of the settings and click the Save Changes button. These changes have been made when you see the success banner at the top of the screen. And one other note, at the bottom of the permalink settings screen is a place for information about the .htaccess file. This is a file in the root directory that allows these changes in the permalink structure to be processed by the server. If you don't have such a file in the root directory, or if it's not writable, then WordPress will warn you that you'll need to manually add or correct this file. This information will appear in a text box at the bottom of the permalink settings screen. If you don't see this box and you see the updated banner, then WordPress was able to make the necessary changes. If you do see this text box, then you may need to contact your web host provider for help making these changes. Now navigate to the Settings admin panel and click the General tab. The General Settings screen has information that's used throughout the site, such as the title and tagline, the email address, and date formatting that you'll usually enter once and not change again. The default time zone is set to London, England time, or UTC +0. UTC stands for Coordinated Universal Time Standard, which is roughly equivalent to GMT or Greenwich Mean Time. These times are expressed in positive and negative offsets of the UTC. On the right is the current UTC time in a 24-hour clock. Simply convert your local time to a 24-hour time and add or subtract from the current UTC. Or you can choose a city in your correct time zone. When you save these changes, your local time will appear next to the UTC time. Also, the time does not update automatically for daylight savings time. This will need to be done manually if you live in an area that uses daylight savings time. The other settings on these screens can be left at the default, but I do want to point out the site title and tagline. The site title is used to identify the site and is also used as the identifying name in syndication feeds. And the tagline is the site's byline, which is a short phrase describing the site. These two lines are important since in most themes, these two lines appear at the top of the website as part of the header and even can be used by search engines. They can be changed at any time without affecting the operation of the site. Make changes to the title or tagline, and when saved, they're changed on the site. Remember to click the Save Changes button and watch for the banner to activate any changes. A theme is a separate set of files that works with the database and the core WordPress files to produce the layout and appearance of the site. Themes can be found in the WordPress Themes repository. All of these are free, or they can be purchased from developers. To build this site, we'll be using the default theme installed with WordPress, but most any of the themes found in the WordPress repository will work. There are several commercial theme developers that can be a great alternative to the free themes found in the repository. Some have been around for a long time, and most offer great support. WordPress is a dynamic community of developers that are in constant motion, making changes and updates, and you want your theme to be able to keep pace. When choosing a theme, make sure it has good support and that it gets regular updates. Unless you're familiar with the theme that you want to use, it's recommended that you use the default theme for the course build-out. You can always change the theme later. This video covers the installation of the S2 Member Framework and the WP Show IDs plugin that we need for the creation of the membership site. We'll be installing other plugins later to enhance the site, like a Tables plugin and the JW Player for Flash and HTML5. In addition, we'll also install Back WP Up, the free version, and WordPress SEO by Yoast. These are not directly related to a membership site, but are important to have regardless of what type of site you operate. All these plugins are installed like any other plugin in WordPress. Navigate to Add New Plugins and enter WP Show IDs in the search box and click the Search button. Locate the WP Show IDs plugin by WebSharks and click the Install Now link and OK to start the install process. Click Activate on the success screen. This plugin makes finding the IDs for a page or post easy. It creates a new ID column in the All Pages and All Posts table. This information is needed when setting restrictions for site content. Now, navigate back to the Add New Plugins screen to install the S2 Member Framework plugin. Enter S2 Member in the search box and click the Search button. Locate the S2 Member Framework plugin by WebSharks and click the Install button and OK to start the process. Click Activate on the success screen. This will install the new admin panel for S2 Member with a list of management options. S2 Member is a WordPress membership management plugin that's used to protect site content and allow visitors to view only designated content. S2 Member has a free version and a paid pro version. This course covers the free framework version. With a fresh install of WordPress, the permalink settings and the general settings should be set before continuing. If you've not made these settings, then you should set the date and time and the permalinks before you continue. These settings are covered in another video. S2 Member operates by directing visitors trying to view members-only content to a membership options page. This page is where the PayPal buttons are placed to purchase a membership. Once a purchase has been completed, they're directed back to the site to create a username and password on the registration screen. They will then be directed to the welcome page. The welcome page is the first page a visitor sees after logging in as a member. This page usually has a welcome message and information about using the site. We need to create the membership options page and the welcome page before we continue. These are required pages for S2 Member, but they can be left blank for now. We'll design these pages and the login screen once we've configured some other options. Navigate to the Add New Pages screen. Enter Welcome Page in the title field and click Publish. This will be the first page a registered member will see after login. Now click the Add New Page button again and enter Membership Options Page in the title field and click Publish. This will be the page that a non-registered user will see. It will contain the membership options and the PayPal buttons for purchase of membership options. Now, to make the process easier and so we'll not get the warning message, we need to set the membership options page and the welcome page. Navigate to S2 Member General Options and open the Login Welcome page by clicking on the bar. Select the blank welcome page we just created from the drop-down menu. Now navigate to the S2 Member Membership Options page and open it by clicking the bar. Select the blank Membership Options page we just created from the drop-down. Now click the Save All Changes button at the bottom of the screen. We now have WP Show IDs, the S2 Member plugin installed, and the required pages created and set. A PayPal developer account is needed for testing PayPal payment transactions before going live. These transactions are test only, and no money is actually transferred. When using the PayPal sandbox, the information in the PayPal account details panel will need to be the sandbox details information, and developer sandbox testing should be set to yes. In order to use the PayPal sandbox for testing, You'll need to create a test account in the PayPal developer site. This is free and can be done easily. If you have a PayPal account and want to use the test information for that site, then you can log in using that PayPal email and password. If you don't have a PayPal account or you want to create a separate test account, then navigate to developer.paypal.com and click the Sign Up button. Enter the information and use a valid email address. The login information will be sent to this email address. Click the Agree and Continue button. You'll receive an email at the address you used to sign up. Click on the link to activate the account. After you activate the account, you can log in by entering the email for the account and the password. You now have a PayPal developer account where you can create test accounts. The developer account is located at developer.paypal.com. These test accounts can be used on the Sandbox site to test transactions. The Sandbox account is located at sandbox.paypal.com. The Sandbox account mirrors your live PayPal account, but it does not access any real user information. It only uses the test account information you created under the developer's account site. Now that we've created a PayPal developer account and we have a PayPal Sandbox site, we can configure the PayPal account details for testing. We'll be using PayPal as a way for customers to pay for access to the membership site. If the PayPal options are not set, then the PayPal buttons we generate for the membership options page will not function properly. We'll get a warning banner at the top of the screen if these settings have not been configured. If you've not already done so, log into your PayPal developer account. We now need to get the information for the S2 member PayPal setup. Open a new tab and log into your WordPress site and navigate to the S2 member's PayPal options and click the PayPal account details bar to open the screen. The information we need for this screen is obtained from the Sandbox test site. Keep this open so we can switch back and forth to enter the details. Switch tabs to the developer account. We need to log into the Sandbox test site to get the merchant ID. For that, we'll need the business email address from the developer account, which is the email with the --facilitator, and the password for that email. Click on the Enter Sandbox site under the Sandbox Test Account screen, which takes you to the PayPal Sandbox site. Enter the business email address and the business password to log in. The information we need is located under the Profile link. We need the Merchant Account ID, which is on the My Business Info screen. Copy the Merchant ID, switch tabs to the S2 member PayPal options screen, and paste the Merchant ID in the field. Next, we need the email address, which is also located on the My Business Info screen. Copy the email and switch tabs and paste the email address in the corresponding S2 member field. Next, we need the API information. This is on the My Settings Tool screen. Click the My Settings Tool link and locate the API access and click Update. If this is the first time setting up API permissions, you'll need to click the View API Signature under Option 2. Now, from the View or Remove API Signature screen, copy the API username and switch tabs to the S2 member PayPal screen and paste that in the corresponding field. Now, do the same for the API password, and finally the signature. Now, make sure the Developer/Sandbox Testing button is selected to Yes, Enable. Also, the Enable Logging Routines can be set to Yes to help with any debugging during testing. These log files can be viewed by clicking this Log Viewer link. But remember to turn both of these off before going live for security. Now click the Save All Changes button at the bottom of the screen. Now any transactions that you perform will use the Sandbox test site and are not live transactions. Now, when we create the PayPal buttons later, we can test transactions and work out any problems before going live. When we go live, we'll need to change this information to the active PayPal account details and make sure the Developer Sandbox Testing selection is set to No and the Enable Logging Routine is set to No. This will allow S2 member to communicate with a live PayPal account. And remember to click the Save All Changes button to activate any changes. IPN, or Instant Payment Notification, is a feature from PayPal that sends messages about payments directly from the PayPal website. These can be cancellations, failed payments, refunds, chargebacks, or termination of accounts. With these messages enabled, S2 member can update your PayPal account immediately and react by upgrading a customer or downgrading a customer account accordingly. If you've not already done so, log into your WordPress site and navigate to the S2 member PayPal options screen and click the PayPal IPN integration bar to open the screen. Copy the IPN URL. Open another browser and log into your PayPal account, either a test account or a live account. Click the Profile link, then click the My Selling Tools link. Locate Instant Payment Notification and click the Update link. At the bottom of the IPN page is the Choose IPN Settings button. Click that button to open the Edit Instant Payment Notification settings screen. Now paste the URL we just copied in the Notification URL field and select the Receive IPN message, Enabled. This enables the IPN service. Now click the Save Changes button to activate the changes. We also need to enable the Payment Data Transfer, or PDT, and the Auto Return. Auto Return brings customers back to the website after payment, and the PDT is needed to receive notifications of successful payments. Switch tabs to the S2 member PayPal options screen and click the PayPal PDT/Auto Return integration bar to open the screen. Copy the Auto Return URL. Now switch tabs to the PayPal account. Under the Profile link on the My Selling Tools screen, locate Website Preferences and click the Update link. Select the Auto Return options to On. Now paste the return URL we copied from the S2 member screen into the Return URL field. Now locate the Payment Data Transfer section and select the option to On. Now before we can complete the configuration, we must save the changes we've made so far. Click on the Save Changes button at the bottom of the screen. This will generate the PDT token we need for the S2 member configuration. If this is the first time for generating the PDT token, the token will show on the success bar on this screen. The token can also be accessed by clicking the Profile link, and on the My Selling screen, under Web Preferences in the Payment Data Transfer section is the token. Copy this token and paste it in the S2 member PayPal PDT Identity Token field. Click the Save All Changes button at the bottom of the page. The changes have been made when you see the Success banner. This process is the same for a sandbox test site or an active live PayPal account. Membership levels not only determine who gets access to the site content, but are also used for other elements of the site. They're used in the design for the membership options page, and they're used to customize the PayPal buttons. The free version of S2 Member supports 5 levels of membership, 1 free level and 4 primary levels. In S2 Member, Level 0 is reserved for free memberships. Whenever a visitor registers without paying, they're automatically entered as Level 0. Level 0 can be controlled by navigating to S2 Member General Options and clicking the Open Registration bar to open the screen. Under the Allow Open Registration, select the option you want, No to Not Allow and Yes to Allow, and then click the Save All Changes button at the bottom of the page. For the course build-out, we'll be allowing Level 0 as a way to retain potential customers for upgrade. Select the Yes option and click the Save All Changes button at the bottom of the page. Membership levels are directly related to content restrictions, and there are numerous ways to restrict content in S2 Member. Content can be restricted by post, by page, by category, by tag, or by URI, and content can even be restricted using custom capabilities. S2 Member installs a meta box on all page and post screens that restrict content using membership levels. When writing a page or a post, simply select the membership level. Another way is to use custom capabilities for content restriction. Content can be restricted by using a tag or category name along with the membership level. For the course build-out, we'll use page tags with membership levels to restrict content. And for that, we'll need to install a page tagger, since WordPress does not have the ability to use tags on pages. It only allows tags for posts. Navigate to the Add New Plugin screen and type Page Tagger in the search box and click the Search button. Locate the Page Tagger plugin and click Install Now, and then Activate. This plugin installs a meta box for tags on the page screen. Now all pages can be tagged just like a post. And remember, tags are case sensitive. For the course build-out, we'll be using Level 0 and Level 1 with custom capabilities to restrict the content. The membership levels themselves can be used to restrict this content, but with custom capabilities applied to membership levels, you have a far greater possibility for content restriction combinations. Now we need to configure the membership level labels. Navigate to the S2 Member General Options and click the Membership Levels/Labels. This is the screen where the levels are named. They can be left at the default, but for this course, we'll be changing the names. Level 0 will be named Basic, and Level 1 will be named Site Build. Level 1 will actually have two separate sublevels, one for a membership site build and another for an e-commerce site build. We're using one level here since these sublevels are basically the same except for the content. The content restriction will be handled with custom capabilities. In other words, if the content is tagged with the word we use for the custom capabilities, then only a member with that permission will be allowed to view the content. We'll use these tag names when we create the PayPal button, since the permissions are set when a membership is purchased. For the remaining levels, we can use a dash to let us know they're for future use. The Force WordPress to Use label selection will change the default WordPress role settings to the ones entered in the levels fields above. This can make them easier to identify if you need to add a new member or if you change a member level. It will not affect the operation of the site. It's strictly a personal preference. This can be left to no unless you just want to change it. And the button to reset roles and capabilities is typically used by developers. It resets the roles if there were changes made and they're not functioning properly. Clicking this will reset the roles to the defaults. Click the Save button at the bottom of the page. Now, before we can create the PayPal buttons, we need to set the tag for the custom capabilities. By doing this, S2 Member will restrict content access using these tags. Navigate to S2 Member Restriction Options and click the Tag Access Restriction bar to open the screen. Locate the tags that require level 1 or higher and enter ecom, a comma, no spaces, and mem, M-E-M-B. Remember that tags are case sensitive. These are the tags we'll use in the pages and posts to restrict the content to members. Now, when a customer buys the e-commerce membership, they'll be able to view all content marked with the ecom tag. No one else will be able to see this content. Click the Save All Changes button at the bottom of the screen. Now that we have the levels set for the site and our tag restrictions in place, we can create the PayPal buttons. The Membership Options page is where an unregistered customer is sent when they try to view protected content. This is where they're sent to purchase a membership. And this is the page where you display the benefits and options for memberships. The design we'll use is a table with membership levels, benefits, and PayPal buttons at the bottom. You can use any design you want to fit your site needs. For this course, we'll be using the Web Simon Table plugin. This is an easy-to-use plugin and has nice layouts and features. Navigate to the Plugin's admin panel and click Add New. Enter Web Simon in the search box and click the Search button. Locate the Web Simon Table plugin and click Install Now and OK, and then Activate on the success screen. This plugin installs under the Tools admin panel. Navigate to Tools and click on Web Simon Tables. To start, enter a name in the name field. This is used as a reference and is not part of the table design. At this point, it would help to know how many levels of membership you want and the benefits for each level. You can have a single column or a multi-column layout. For the course, we have a free basic site build, a membership site build, and an e-commerce site build. We can start with 4 columns. One column to list the benefits, and one column for each membership type. and we can start with 5 rows. We can add rows as needed. Give the table a name and enter 5 rows and 4 columns and click the Add Table button. The new table will be listed in the All Tables table. Locate the table and click the Edit Table Content link. It's on this screen where we design and maintain the Membership Options page table. Plain text or graphics can be used in the design. The table for this membership site will have plain text for the headers and for the benefits, with PayPal buttons for payments. The first column is for the list of benefits. You can leave this header blank or enter benefits in the header field. Now, in the header field of each of the other columns, enter the membership level name. Now enter the benefits. One benefit in each of the fields under the benefits column. And a word of warning, before you add a column or a row, click the Save Tables button to preserve any information you entered. Click the Save Tables Content button when complete. Now, for each benefit, enter a yes or a no to indicate if the benefit is available for that membership level. When complete, click the Save Table Content button. Now we need a row for pricing and the PayPal buttons. For the row before the Payments button, we'll enter the price of each level. Add a new row by clicking the arrow at the bottom of the last row. Now enter the pricing description under each of the levels and click the Save Table Contents button. Add a new row by clicking the arrow at the bottom of the last row. Since there's no payment for the free membership level, we'll not have a PayPal button. To direct the user to the registration screen, we can use an HTML anchor with an image. The registration link can be found under General Options on the Login/Registration Design screen. Copy this URL and add it to an image and an HTML anchor. Paste the complete HTML in the field. Click the Save Tables button. At this point, the table may not have the look that fits your site. But when you edit the table structure and style, you can get it to look very nice. Now we can add the table to the Membership Options page, even though we don't have the PayPal buttons created. Since we're using a shortcode, we can continue to make changes to the table, and they'll be immediately reflected in the table on the page. As long as we use the same table, we'll not need to edit the Membership Options page again. Copy the table shortcode, and then navigate to the Membership Options page, and paste the shortcode and click the Update button. Also, you may want to uncheck the discussion settings since there's not a need for comments on this page. Uncheck the buttons and click Update. Click Preview to see how the table looks with your theme. Themes will have an impact on how the table looks. You can make adjustments to the table by clicking the Edit Tables and Style link for that table. And now we need to add the PayPal buttons for each level, which will be in the PayPal button creation video. The PayPal buttons are generated by S2Member using the information supplied in the form fields on the Button Generator screen. These are the buttons we'll be placing in the Membership Options page. If you've not already done so, navigate to the table for the Membership Options and click the Edit Table Contents button. Now open a new browser tab and navigate to the S2Member PayPal buttons screen. There are separate button generators for each of the primary membership levels. There is no button generator for level 0 in the free version of S2Member since it's reserved for free subscribers and no payment is required. S2Member does not store the buttons generated on this page. This page is for button generation only. If a button code is lost, then a new button code will need to be generated. Click the Level 1 access bar. The PayPal button configuration has 2 options for payment. One, if you're giving a trial either for free or for a fee, and an option for setting payments, which can be a recurring payments for membership, where the member is charged until they cancel, or a one-time non-recurring payment, where a member has access for a certain time period. There's also options for a Buy Now payment, which is a one-time non-recurring payment. With the Buy Now feature, a trial period cannot be offered, so it's not available. What you charge and how often will depend entirely on your site membership plan. We'll be generating 2 separate buttons for Level 1, one for the membership site build and one for the e-commerce site build. Level 1, the membership site build, will have a 7-day trial at $4.95 with a $37 a month recurring fee. The description field is used to identify the membership level. Enter a brief description in this field. You can edit this to fit your site needs. This description appears in the description field on the PayPal checkout screen to help customers know what they're purchasing. Now we need to enter the appropriate tag for the custom capabilities. This is the tag that will restrict the content and allow only posts and pages with this tag to be viewed by the members who purchased this level. Enter MEMB, our tag for the membership site build discussed in a previous video. When the settings have been made, click the Generate Button code and then the OK button. This produces a shortcode that can be used, and it also produces the actual button code. Always use the shortcode for the buttons unless you have a specific need to use the button code. With the shortcode, you can do testing on the site with the PayPal developer account and then change the PayPal information to the live PayPal account and not have to regenerate the buttons. If you use the actual code and then switch from testing to a live account, the buttons will need to be regenerated and repasted in the fields. Now copy the shortcode. Switch browsers to the table view. Copy the shortcode in the appropriate field and click the Save Table button. Now we can generate the button for the e-commerce membership. Switch tabs to the PayPal button generator. We'll offer the same 7 days free trial, but for the monthly recurring charge, we'll be charging $47. Enter the description and the custom capability tag. In this case, it will be eComm, E-C-O-M-M. Click the Generate Button Code button. Copy the shortcode and switch tabs and copy to the appropriate field and click the Save Tables button. Now the table has all the information and we have our 2 membership types set. Since we use the shortcode in the Membership Options page, we can navigate to the site and click the Membership Options page and see the changes with the PayPal buttons. If one of the PayPal buttons is clicked, it'll take you to the PayPal checkout screen. All the information we entered in the button field appears on this screen. Later, we'll create some test accounts to use to test the payment process. The registration screen, the login screen, and the lost password screen by default have the S2 member logo installed. These screens can be branded and customized to match the design of the site. To customize these screens, navigate to S2 Members, General Options, and click the Login/Registration Design. Make sure the Enable This Functionality is set to Yes, so the changes made to the design will be visible. The overall font/size configuration formats the text and the size of the input form fields. The background configuration formats the background color, the images on the background, and even changes the text color and adds shadows to the text and the input forms. The logo image configuration places and configures the logo image. A footer is for placing information at the bottom of these screens, usually with HTML or PHP. You can change any of these settings to fit your site design. For this course, we'll change the logo. And for this, you'll need a logo and you'll need to know the size of the logo. To change the logo, click the Open Media Library button under Logo Image Configuration to open the Add Media panel. From here, you can select the logo from one you've already downloaded, or click Select Files and locate the logo on your computer, or you can drag and drop the image to the media uploader. When the upload is complete, click the Insert Image and Post button. This replaces the logo image location for S2 Member. Now enter the size. The logo we have is a 300 by 120 pixel logo. You can adjust these sizes to fit your logo. The remaining fields in this section are for the click-through URL and the title for the browser tab. Adjust to your needs or leave as is. One feature we'll activate is the Display Back to Home Page link at bottom. This adds a convenient way for a visitor to get back to the home page if they decide not to register now. Now click the Save All Changes button to activate the changes. click the Login/Registration Design bar to open the screen, and click the registration link and the OK button. Now the logo appears on the registration screen, the login screen, and the lost password screen. And we also have an easy way for customers to navigate back to the site by clicking the Back to Empowering Video link. This is a great way to brand your site since almost every customer will see one of these screens. Amazon Web Services, or AWS, provides a web services interface that can be used to store and retrieve data at any time from anywhere on the web. This interface is simple enough that you can retrieve data using a URL, so it's well suited for basic web hosting tasks like serving up media files. The pricing for Amazon S3 is on a pay-as-you-go basis, so there's no minimum fee. This means you don't have to invest in hosting infrastructure or services in order to ensure that your website can handle an occasional traffic spike. It can handle large spikes in traffic without incurring overage fees for exceeding bandwidth. In this course, we'll set up an Amazon S3 account and a CloudFront account to use to serve content and media files. The Amazon S3 account can be used by itself for delivering the media files, but S3 with CloudFront offers the additional speed and performance by delivering files over servers that are close to the customer's location, which delivers the best performance and speed for our media files. We'll set up the Amazon S3 account, and then S2 Member will automatically configure CloudFront with Amazon S3 for streaming videos, which makes the process much easier. If you've ever purchased anything on Amazon, then signing up for an Amazon S3 account is a simple process and only takes a few minutes. But it can take up to 24 hours for this account to be active for use. Sign up for an Amazon S3 account at aws.amazon.com/s3. Click the Sign Up button at the top of the page. If you already have an Amazon account, then you'll be prompted to log in to complete the setup. When complete, you'll receive an email confirming the new services account. If you don't have an Amazon account, then you'll be prompted to create one before the S3 account is set up. After the account is set up, navigate to aws.amazon.com/s3 and click the AWS Management Console link and log in. Then click the Amazon CloudFront link to sign up for a CloudFront account. Click the Sign Up Now button and simply follow the instructions. You don't need to configure the CloudFront services. S2 Member will do that for you. Now that the accounts are active, we can configure the S3 account to get it ready for the CloudFront configuration. Now that the Amazon S3 account is set up and running, we need to create a bucket for the content. Files are stored in these buckets much like a directory for your computer. You're limited to creating 100 buckets, but you can create any number of folders in a bucket to keep files separate. So from one bucket, we can serve all the content for our membership website. The bucket names are global in the Amazon system and must be unique in the system, one that's not used by another S3 user. To create a bucket, log into your Amazon S3 account and navigate to the AWS Management Console and select the S3 icon. At the top left is a panel with the Create Bucket button. Click that button and a pop-up will activate. Enter the bucket name. If that name is in use, then you'll get an error message and you'll need to enter another name. The region and the setup login can be left at the default. Click the Create button. This is the bucket name that will be entered in the Amazon S3 Bucket File Name field for S2 Member. Copy this bucket name. Now open another browser tab and log into your site and navigate to S2 Member, Download Options, and click on the Amazon S3 CDN Storage option bar to open the screen. Locate the Amazon S3 fields and copy the bucket name in the Amazon S3 File Bucket Name field. Now we need the security credentials for S2 Member. Click on the Amazon S3 Account tab, and at the top of the Amazon Services screen is a drop-down. Click the Security Credentials link. This screen will have access to the identifiers that we need for configuring S2 Member. Amazon S3 provides two parts to access keys. It provides the access key ID, and it also provides the secret access key. The ID is a public identifier, like a username, that specifies a particular Amazon S3 account. The secret key is the private identifier like a password, that ensures you're the one making a request. It is important to note that the secret access key and all the access information are important and should be kept confidential to protect your account. If you lose this key, then you will need to generate a new ID that gives a new secret access key, which means the information must be updated in the S2 member screens to ensure proper access to the Amazon S3 files. You're only allowed 2 access keys at any one time. If you already have a key ID with the associated secret access key, then you can use that pair. If not, then click the Create New Access Key button. On the success screen, click the Show Access Key link. Copy the access key ID, then switch browser tabs to the S2 member screen and copy the key to the Amazon Access Key field. Now switch the browser tab to the Amazon S3 account and copy the secret access key. Switch back to the S2 member screen and paste the secret key to the Amazon secret key. Now click the Save All Changes button at the bottom of the screen. Switch back to the Amazon S3 account and click the Download Key file and save this file in a very secure place. This is the ID and the secret key. If lost, you'll need to create another key and re-enter the new information. The Amazon S3 account setup is complete at this point. You can use only the S3 account to serve files. S2 member will look to the Amazon S3 bucket to find the file requested. You do not need the CloudFront component. But if you want better and more secure file transfer, then you want CloudFront, and for that, we need the keys. Click the CloudFront Key Pairs link. You're allowed 2 pairs for CloudFront also. If you have key pairs already, then you can use those. If not, click the Create New Key Pair. Key pairs have 3 components: the access key ID, and the private key file and the public key file. S2 member needs the access key ID and the private key file to configure CloudFront. Click the Download Private Key file and save it to a secure place. It's also a good idea to download the public key file also. Now close the screen and copy the access key ID. If you've not already done so, open a new browser to your site, log in and navigate to S2 Members Download Options, and click the Amazon S3 CloudFront CDN Storage option. Copy the access key ID in the Amazon CloudFront Key Pair ID field. Now locate the private key file you downloaded. This is the file that has a PK- at the beginning, and open it in a text editor like Notepad or Notepad++. Do not open this file in a word processor. It will add unwanted code. Copy the entire file and make sure you capture all the characters, including the leading and ending dashes. Switch browser tabs to the S2 member screen and paste this file in the Amazon CloudFront private key field. And finally, make sure the Yes, automatically configure my Amazon CloudFront box is checked. This will trigger a pop-up. Click the OK button. Now click the Save All Changes button at the bottom of the screen. It could take about 30 minutes or so for S2 member to configure the CloudFront and for Amazon to deploy the distribution. You can see this process by clicking the Services link in your Amazon account and clicking the CloudFront link. You'll see 2 services deploying, one for RTMP and another for the web. And when they finish, the status will read Deployed. You now have a cost-efficient, secure, reliable, high-performance system set up to stream videos and files to your customers. In this lesson, we'll install the JW Player be used with the Amazon S3 and CloudFront configuration. The Amazon S3 and CloudFront configurations and the JW Player and RTMP protocol streaming allows videos to be played without the member being able to download the video itself. This is a nice protection for the videos. This configuration also has the ability to stream seek media files. For the installation, we'll need to download the JW Player and install it to the remote server. The JW Player plugin in the WordPress repository cannot be used for this installation. S2 member is configured to look for the player in the root directory, so the JW Player must be installed at that location for this configuration to work properly. Log into your site and navigate to the S2 member download options. In order for the player to operate with this configuration, the Amazon S3 and CloudFront S2 members options will need to be complete. If you haven't completed these settings, then you'll need to watch the Amazon S3 and CloudFront videos before continuing. Click the JW Player and RTMP Protocol Examples bar to open the panel. This screen has code examples for shortcodes for video and audio, and code examples for PHP if needed. We'll be using the RTMP Streaming MP4 via S2 member and Amazon S3 and CloudFront integration. This option allows for streaming with the RTMP protocol, but it also has a fallback to the MP4 source in case streaming is not allowed on the requesting device. Click the JW Player link with the Amazon S3 and CloudFront integration option. Now we need to download the JW Player. Locate and click the JW Player download link. This download requires you to open a free account with JW Player. Click the Get Started for Free button and enter an email address. This will generate an email to activate the account so you can download the player. Activate the account from the email. Create a password and click the Get Your JW Player button. Locate the Get Your Player button and click the link. And finally, locate the Download Self-Hosted Player and click that link. Save the zip file to your computer. Now locate that zip file on your computer and unzip it. The next step will require the use of an FTP program. We'll be using FileZilla. Open your FTP program and connect to your site's remote server. Navigate to the root directory. This is usually the public_HTML folder, but it could be different for your hosting company. This is typically the directory with the WordPress WP-content folder. In this root directory, create another folder called JW Player, all lowercase, no spaces. So you should have the WP-content folder and the JW Player folder in the root directory. Now open the unzipped folder to the files and upload the files to the JW Player folder. Do not upload the entire folder, only the files. If you upload the folder, S2 member will not be able to find the player. When complete, you can close the FTP program. Navigate back to the S2 member plugin and locate the shortcode just under the JW Player download link. To use this shortcode, just paste it in a page or a post and replace the Video.mp4 name with the name of the video in the Amazon S3 bucket. We'll use this shortcode later when we download some content to the Amazon S3 bucket that we created in an earlier video. And since we allow access to restricted files, we now need to set the basic download restrictions in S2 member for this configuration to operate properly. Since we'll be allowing access to restricted files with Amazon S3 and CloudFront, we'll need to set some basic download restrictions. This is an important step since it enables the file download functionality for S2 member. Navigate to Download Options and click Basic Download Restrictions to open the screen. By default, S2 member automatically detects links to files for download by logged-in members and activates a JavaScript allowing the member to confirm the download and giving information about any download restrictions that are in place. This download count applies to unique downloads and does not count the download of the same file by that logged-in member. Each level can have different download restrictions. So for any level you have active, simply set the number of unique downloads allowed for the levels and within how many days. We have one level active, and for our site we'll not need to have a limit on the downloads, so we can enter a series of 9s in the first field and 1 in the second field. This allows a large number of downloads per day, which effectively allows unlimited access. Click the Save All Changes button at the bottom of the screen to save any changes. The layout and the design of the welcome page will depend a great deal on the style and the focus of your site. Since this is the first page a member will see after logging in, this is a nice place for information about using the site and some helpful hints. A welcome page full of too much detail and fine print can be a distraction, but at the very least, this page should contain a welcome message and brief instructions about using the site. This is also a page that will change as the site matures, adding new links and information. And with S2Member, you can even have a different welcome page for each level. For the course, we'll design a page with links to some useful pages, a logout link, and a form for account modifications like a password change. We'll add some empty HTML anchor tags, which means they won't have active links at this point. So, as we add content, we can edit these tags in the WebSimon table by replacing the hashtags with the URL and they'll automatically update on the welcome page. This is also a nice place for information like any restrictions that a customer may encounter, like download restrictions for instance, or how to upgrade an account. We'll also add links to site content for different levels. For this course, it'll be membership site build and the e-commerce site build content. Log into your site and navigate to the WebSimon plugin under Tools. Name the table and enter the columns and rows. We'll start with 2 columns and 4 rows. Locate the table in the All Tables table and click the Edit Table Content link. Now enter some HTML anchor tags, or some empty HTML anchor tags with appropriate names. Add as many as you need for your site. And one feature we can add to the welcome page that S2Member provides is a short code to modify a user account. This allows members to conveniently change information or even passwords without going to the default WordPress profile screen. To get this code to paste in the field, open a browser tab to the S2Member API/scripting. Locate Member Profile Modification and click the bar to open the screen. This screen has some code examples that can be used to open a profile screen for members to edit their profile. In this course, we'll be using the iframe code to enter in the welcome page table. Copy the code from the iframe field and paste it in the bottom field in the welcome page table. You may have to adjust the form height to fit neatly in the table field. Changing the height to 500 works nicely. Now we can use the fields above the profile form for information about the form. Make any changes to the table and click the Save Table Contents button. Now copy the table shortcode and open a browser tab to the welcome page that we created earlier. And paste the table shortcode. Add any text you need and click the Update button. Now preview the page and make any adjustments, like the iframe height for instance. Now you have the basis for a welcome page that a visitor can use. You can edit the table structure and style to fit your site. This design is intended to get you started. It's not a finished product. What you do with this page will depend on your site focus. There are as many variations to this page as there are membership sites. Now that the parameters are set for the membership site, the content can be protected. The way you protect content will depend on your site focus. S2Member installs a meta box on each page and post screen. The membership level is selected from this drop-down, and there's also a place for the custom capabilities. This is the place for the MEMB and the ECOMM tags we set up in a previous video. S2Member also has the ability to protect content for each level in various ways. To set content restrictions, navigate to the S2Member Restriction Options page. Content can be protected by post by entering the post ID in a comma-delimited format. The post IDs can be found in the All Posts table under the ID column that the WP Show ID plugin installed. This is the plugin that we installed in a previous video. Also, if you're using custom post types, they can be protected by entering the word all, A-L-L, all lowercase, followed by a dash, and then the custom post type. All dash movies would protect the all movies custom post types, for instance. page restriction is handled in the same way as the post restriction with the page ID. Enter the ID under the level separated with a comma. Tags are different. Tags use the name of the tag, and with the Tag Page Tagger plugin we installed in a previous video, all the pages along with the post can be tagged to use the tag restriction. Category restriction is handled like the post and page restrictions with a category ID listed under the level. Category IDs can be found on the Post Category screen. And URI restriction can be used to protect entire sections of the site by using the URI, or Uniform Resource Identifier. This is the part of the URL after the dot extension in the site domain name. This is typically used when there's a plugin like BuddyPress installed. And a specific post or page restriction can be used to sell access to a specific post or a page. This can be sold to anyone, even non-members. This is a file that is not protected by any membership levels. This is a specific page or post, like an ebook, that you want to sell to members and non-members alike. One of the restrictions we'll set in place is the Alternative View Protection. Alternative View Protection filters WordPress database queries, WordPress searches, content excerpts from XML feeds, archive views, and even comment feeds. This is an added layer of protection for the site. You can select what is appropriate for your site. For the course, we'll use the filter All WordPress Queries so we can have this added protection. Select the box and then click the Save All Changes button. Two other forms of restrictions that you should be aware of are the brute force IPN/login restriction and the unique IP access restrictions. These are both on by default, but can be adjusted or even turned off. Brute force is when someone tries to guess the username and password by trying different combinations. Brute force restriction limits the number of attempts or failed logins within a set time period. If this number is exceeded, then a ban is placed on that person for 30 minutes. You can adjust this to fit your site by selecting from the drop-down. This feature can be disabled by selecting the Allow Infinite Failed Logins, and it can be reset by clicking the Reset Brute Force Logs. And the unique IP access restrictions works to prevent a member from sharing their username and password with a non-member by monitoring the entry points to the membership site. If a member exceeds the maximum unique IP addresses set, then they will be temporarily banned. Select the number of unique IDs allowed, and then select the banned period. This feature can be disabled by selecting the Allow Infinite IPs, and it can be reset by clicking the Reset IP Restrictions Logs button. Remember to click the Save All Changes button at the bottom of the screen to activate any changes. As your site grows and matures, these restrictions can be revised to make your site flexible and user-friendly. Protected files for the membership site are added to the Amazon S3 bucket we created in a previous video. We configured S2Member to look in this Amazon S3 bucket for any protected files like media files, for instance. This was done when we configured the download options. Now we'll add videos to this bucket and then place those videos in pages so they can be viewed by members. Log into your Amazon AWS account and click the S3 link. Open the bucket. In our case, this will be the Empowering-Videos bucket. If you configured the CloudFront distribution along with S3, then there will be a cross-domain.xml file that was generated for the CloudFront distribution in this bucket already. Click the Upload button to open the upload screen. Now click the Add Files button and locate any files you want to add to the bucket. Then click the Start Upload button. This process can take some time depending on the size and the number of files to upload. When the files are uploaded, we need to make a list of the file names to use for the S2Member shortcode. I find it convenient to copy the file names to a text editor like Notepad. Now I have the file names and I don't have to switch back and forth from Amazon S3 to my site. Now log into your site and navigate to the S2Member download options and click the JW Player bar to open the screen. Click the JW Player Amazon S3 and CloudFront integration link and copy the shortcode. You can copy this shortcode to the same location as the file names for easy access. We'll be using this shortcode for several pages. Now we need to set the shortcode into pages. Add a new page. Set the membership level and the custom capabilities if needed. Copy and paste the shortcode in the page. Now replace the default Videos.mp4 name with the name of the video for this page. In this case, it's the Start video. Now click the Save Draft button. Now preview the page. Make any adjustments, and when complete, click the Publish button. Now repeat this process for any other videos. We've created a PayPal developer account and a PayPal sandbox site, and we have the PayPal options configured, and the buttons are created using these test account settings. The site is now ready to test. Now we need to create some buyer test accounts. Log into the developer's account at developer.paypal.com. Click on Applications and then click Sandbox Accounts. A business account was created when the developer account was activated. We can create several customer accounts to test various combinations of payments and account types. Click the Create Account button. In Account Details, leave the country as United States. For a buyer account, click Personal under Account Type. Enter an email address that's easy to remember. This can be any email address since it will not be used as a valid transaction anyway, but it must be an email that is unique to the entire developer site. If the email already exists in the system, you'll be prompted for another. Now enter a password of at least 8 characters. This information will be needed later when we make a test purchase. And a first and last name, which are optional. Enter a dollar amount in the PayPal balance field. Enter enough so you won't need to keep adding money to test transactions. $99.99 for instance. Select the Add Bank Account button to Yes. This sets the account in a verified status. If you have a need to check accounts on an unverified account status, then select the No button. Select a payment card to test with different payment cards. Discover for credit card or PayPal for direct PayPal accounts. And select a single credit card type. The sandbox associates a mock credit card number with a test account. And you can include any notes that may be helpful with testing. Click the Create Account button when finished. Now repeat this process for additional customer test accounts. You can add as many different account combinations as you need. When complete, you'll have customer test accounts to use in the Sandbox test site. Click the Sandbox account links to verify that the accounts are created. From here, you can click the account name to edit the profile or to get the information for making a test purchase. And under the Notifications tab, you can see any information that has been sent to this account from PayPal. It should be noted that when using the Sandbox account for testing, any email confirmation that S2 member sends will not be received after the test purchase. These confirmations are sent to the buyer's email address, but during testing, the buyer email is usually not a valid email. Therefore, no email will be received from S2 member. Other than that, all other functionality can be tested in the PayPal Sandbox site. To run a test purchase, navigate to the Membership Options page and click one of the PayPal buttons. This will take you to the Test Store Purchase screen. Enter the information for the test buyer in the fields and click the Login button. This will activate the Review Payment screen. Click the Agree and Pay button and the transaction is complete. Click the PayPal Accounts Overview to see the transaction in the test account. There should be 2 transactions, one for the trial and one for the recurring payment. The transaction details for the $4.95 trial and the details for the recurring monthly fee. There are many different scenarios for testing accounts. You can even upgrade this test account to a Pro account for even more test scenarios. When you've completed the testing with the Sandbox account, do not forget to change the PayPal account information to the Live account information and turn off the Sandbox account in S2 Members and turn off the logging if you had that selected. When you do that, your site will be live and ready to prosper.